Okay, so good morning, everybody. Well, today we are going to discuss another topic in today's class, which is about correlation analysis. And we're going to talk about this concept in the MS Excel, and we are going to do one question on correlation analysis in today's class. So before I move on to the MS Excel, let me just give you a very brief idea about what correlation analysis is all about. Well, it is one of the most important statistical technique that we have in management. It can be used in the different areas to study the correlation between the two variables. So correlation method is nothing but it is a technique to use to test relationships between quantitative variables or categorical variables. In other words, it is a measure of how things are related. The study of how variables are correlated is called as correlation analysis. There are a lot of examples of high correlation and low correlation, which I'm going to discuss now. So, the very first example of high correlation could be your caloric intake and your weight. So, normally people assume that if people are taking more calories, they are going to gain weight accordingly. Another example could be your eye color and your relative's eye color, the amount of time your study, and your GPA score. Some examples of correlation, which is on a lower side, could be the dog's name and the type of dog biscuit they prefer, the cost of car wash, and how long it takes to buy a soda inside the station. So often, this particular technique is used by the research organizations to find any correlation between two variables and to study how these two variables behave with each other. Another example of that could be like age or the number of innovations done by an individual. So often it is said that as in when people age, they tend to be more innovative, they have more experience, they have more ideas that they can put in practical scenario. But often this particular topic is also debatable because often at times people who are on the younger side as well, even they are seen as with very innovative mind. They are they're very spontaneous. They come out with unique ideas that may not be there with the other people. So one correlation we can find out is that whether people, as in when they age, do they become more innovative or do they innovate less? Do they prefer to relax more or whatsoever? So correlation like that can be used to figure out a relation between the two variables, which further can be used in many other research studies. Correlations is very useful because you can find out what relationship variables have. You can predict a lot of other behavior in the future studies. Knowing what the future holds is very important in the social science like government and healthcare. Business also use these statistics for budgets and business plans. We have correlation coefficient as well, which is nothing but a way to put a value to a relationship. The correlation coefficient can have a value between -1 and 1. That means a zero correlation means that there is no relationship between the variables at all. While -1 and plus means that there is a perfect negative or positive correlation. Negative or positive correlation here refers to the type of the graph the relationship will produce. We have some other types of correlation coefficient as well, which one is Pearson correlation coefficient. It is used to test for linear relationships between the data. And Pearson is likely to the one that we'll be working on in our example. There are other examples as well. Goodman and Kruskal's lambda coefficient is a fairly common coefficient. It can be symmetric, where you do not have to specify which variable is dependent, and asymmetric, where the dependent variable is a specified one. So that was a very brief snapshot of the meaning of correlation coefficient. Let me now start with the practical question of correlation in MS Excel. So I have this MS Excel sheet with me wherein I'm going to have two variables at a time. So let's say that the, uh, the first variable is number of employees that the company is having. And so I want to study whether if there is any company that has more number of employees, do they produce more innovative products? So next is number of innovative products. Well, normally we may say that if there are more people in a company, we normally have more ideas. We can have more productive people in the company, but that may not always be a necessity, because it has been seen that many a times there are those organizations which are having more number of people, but still they don't come out with many innovative ideas. So let me just make my screen bold and make it a bit larger in size so that it can be easily viewed by the viewers. So I have two variables over here, the number of employees. Let me correct the spelling as well. So I'm going to study, is there a correlation between the two variables which I have in my Excel sheet right now, that is the number of employees and the number of innovative products produced by any company. So I have a random data over here. Let me just say the number of employees are say 10, 25, 34, 26, 5, 56, 27, 28, and 29. Number of innovative products, well, I can easily say a random variable over here, like it may be 16, 5, 46, 34, 7, 34, 12, 32, and 15. So in Excel, I have a very important function by the name of CORE, that is CORRE. And if I just click on this, I will have this function and it will show me the format of the function, which is by the name Coral. And this is equal to Coral bracket array1, comma array2. So in this case, I'm going to select the first array, which is number of employees in first case. The second array is being shown as the number of innovative products made by a company. And I'm going to close the bracket and I'm going to press enter in that. Now, if I just reduce the numbers after the decimal point, I will get this. Let me have this at 0.65. So the correlation level for these two variables, that is the number of employees and the number of innovative products, is actually coming quite on a fair side, which is 0.65. And it does say that any company with no more number of employees will indeed be having more number of innovative products, because this 0.65 answer is not on the lower side, but it's neither on a very high side as well. So if this answer would have been 1 or maybe zero point 0.9 or zero point 0.8, then we could have said very safely that the number of employees do indeed increase the number of innovative products being made by any company. But I strongly believe that innovation is not just dependent on the number of employees that we have in any company. It does depend on many other factors. Like it does depend on the skill set being there with the employees, because even if the number is high, but the skill set that they have is not very high, then certainly innovation cannot happen. It also depends on the conducive environment provided by the government and the overall economy, where the companies are able to innovate and they are able to come out with innovative ideas. Then, above all, there has to be a strong market of innovative product, which will actually help in generating more revenues for any company. So in this particular example, it has not come that high and that low, but still fairly it is on a fair side, that is 0.65. So we can very safely say that the correlation between the two variables, in this case, that is number of employees and the number of innovative products, is 0.65, which is quite on a fair side. Like this, we can easily comment on the relationship between any two variables that we can study in research. So that was all for the day. And next, we are going